Yeah, and welcome to another lesson. I am Brett. That was like an auctioneering with, and can I get a 5, and sold to another lesson watcher out there. You guys are awesome. I'm Brett Papa, and in today's lesson, we are going to mix minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, and G7, C7, and D7 arpeggios inside it, all over a G145. Can we do it? Yes, we can. All right, so if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, click the bell to be notified when the newest videos come out. Also, give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and be sure to share it far and wide because, as they say, sharing is caring. Okay, so I was like, blues arpeggios, this would be cool. Like, I was a fan of arpeggios. I love arpeggios, you know, like the Ingve, you know, sweeping the floor, just sweep the whole fretboard clean. But it doesn't necessarily translate to anything but that style of music. Or jazz. You know, jazz, you can totally pull that kind of stuff off. But, you know, just classic rock and blues, like if you start shredding sweeped arpeggios and tapping in a blues jam, people are just gonna be like, beers flying right towards the stage, right? So how do you take a hippie, happy, flowery arpeggio and kind of fuse it with some biker bar toughness, like just like a pretty girl with a chipped tooth? You're like, what's going on there? So she's so confident, she just rocks it, didn't even get fixed. It's like, there's something about that. And so we're gonna learn something about that blues licks and how you do it. So how do you do it? Well, we're gonna take 3 different arpeggios, a G, C, and D. Okay, and we're gonna add this shape to it. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so the top part, you're just breaking up the chord. So it's just the notes of this chord played separately, right? So we got. Okay. The next part is D, 3, and 5. Now, once you get to this D5, then think of a regular G major arpeggio, right? So if we put those all together, we got. Now you can do 2 things here. There's the G and then go up to here. Or I like this sound too. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to hyperimpose that over the top of. Now, we're gonna add a little excitement to that, and we're gonna add the major third, because it's part of our arpeggio too, right? And maybe the flat 5. Right, so. right? So all I'm doing there is just adding, again, this arpeggio, flat 5, major 3rd. Okay, now as I go to the 4 and the 5 chord, I can do those exact same things, exact same shapes, exact same way. Okay, so you just, as the chord shifts from the 1 to the 4 and you go into the C, you can play out of the key of C minor and add that major 3rd blues note and that arpeggio over the top. Same thing with the 5 chord, the D, and then switch back and forth. Now, if you wanted to stay in, say, position 1, you could do that arpeggio like this. So this is over C, right? Now I'm not doing the whole thing, right? Right? Just mess around with a piece of it. And then back, and how easily you can get back into the 1 chord. Okay, so again, my buddies Justin Sanderco, Corey Congilio, I was watching their lessons on how to do this. They do it really, really good. They're like into those like sophisticated guys like Robin Ford, Josh Smith, all these new, well, Robin Ford isn't new, but blues guys that really add a level of sophistication to blues playing, and they do it really good. Like Robin Ford especially, amazing at this sort of thing, adds arpeggios all the time, but it doesn't sound like Yngwie or Paul Gilbert or any of these 80s things that you normally associate with arpeggios, sweeping, all that other kind of stuff, right? So the jam bands do it really good. Marty Schwartz does this thing really good too. A lot of great teachers out there do it really well, but these 2 videos from Justin and Corey Congilio were like, to me, it was like, ah, I got it. Okay, so check them out too. Awesome stuff. Now, when I started, I basically slid into that arpeggio. Right? Now, what I did was, I didn't go straight down that arpeggio. I came back a note, right? And then this is where I go to the toughness, right? This is the biker bar note. Totally right out of G minor pentatonic. So I went right back into, so I went from pretty into tough. And then right, so. That's a first pass. Now I get another chance to do it, so I'll just take that same idea and move up in preparation, knowing the 4 chords coming. Like, what am I gonna do to get to that C? And since I already kind of like that idea, I've decided I'm just gonna plant right here, right? So. Right, so that, my finger doesn't wanna go to that note. There it is. So we're gonna go minor 3rd, major 3rd. Now check that out. You basically did a minor and a major arpeggio in 1 lick. Right? You hit a minor note, and then, so that's a minor chord. You hit a major. Right? Now that note right there is sliding into minor pentatonic position 2. Now what we want to do to get back to that cool arpeggio jam bandy kind of thing is add the major 3rd inside of that, which is right here. Right, so if the position is, if we just add minor 3rd, major 3rd, we did another chord. Okay, so That gets me back in. And now I'm gonna. Okay, so. And I'm envisioning these notes, right? Now when I hit that note right there, that's the C. Right, so I'm hitting the root. And then I love this. Right, so that's a. This playing over this chord, since it shares so many of the same notes as that G minor pentatonic scale, you can really kind of float in between those lines really well and still make everything sound pretty tough, even though this is kind of a happy note. Right? And it's easy to resolve. I'm going from the root here in C to the root here in G. Okay, so. Now, since I'm right here, I did that same move, but I just, varied the notes a little bit. I didn't go down, I just kept it in here and really hit that note right here, which is my G note, right? Now that's close enough to this shape. But I don't get a long time there, right? So I basically just hint at that arpeggio. Same thing I did down here, but here. And that's just a double stop, which I bend to get it into that major third sound. Okay, so one of the really cool things that you can start to learn how to do, especially if you're gonna follow the chords, right? I'm gonna go from G minor, mixing major and minor, to the 4 chord to the 5 chord, right? So C minor, D minor with the major notes in there. Now, a really good thing to do, especially in this 4-5 area, is remember the licks are just a whole step apart, right? So 4 chord, 5 chord. Okay, so think about this position 1 and 2 to start with, okay? So, right, and maybe just, right? So get the, right, that sort of, that's the C. Okay, now remember, the D is right here, position 1. Right? That's a cool arpeggio again we did down here. Okay, instead of sliding, we just bent the note. So, now think about, is there a C minor? Because I gotta shift with the change, right, to get to the 4 chord. And yes, if I think about it right here, I can get into position 2 of C minor pentatonic, okay? So it's the same notes, right? These 2 notes, that's all folks, these 2 notes are from D minor, but I can't go to here, right? That wouldn't be C. If I scoot this note up 1, now I'm into C minor. Okay? So I did it really quickly from the 5 to the 4 chord, right? Just a way to do it. You don't have to do it like that. Just an example of how to do it, but know where those scales intersect each other. Now, if I wanted to stay in that exact spot, right? If I wanted to just stay right where that 5 chord is, I could play in all 3 of those keys and not miss a beat, okay? So here's the 4 chord, or the 5 chord. Here's the 4 chord. And then the 1 chord, the 4th position. This one. Very similar to the D minor pentatonic. Same thing, I add that major 3rd right there. So, minor 5 chord. Minor lick 4 chord. 1 chord. Now I can go back to, and then I just slid up to position 2, right? Of the 5 chord. And then I can go right back into the 1 chord, position 4. Or now I did it a little, I do it like a, right? So I love to add those chromatic notes in there. So, because I'm seeing my G chord right here, right? This position. Okay, so. And then you can get back into position 1. There you have it, folks. Just some ideas, right? I mean, I'm new at this. I'm like a day into it. I'm like, Corey showed me this arpeggio like maybe, I don't know, a year and a half ago when we did our first course together, which is awesome, by the way. If you haven't seen his course, it's the Complete Blues Guitar Volume 1. Check it out, brettpapa.com. Killer course. Goes over a lot of this kind of stuff and also these cool rhythm moves that you can use the two together. But he showed me this shape and I was like, oh yeah, cool. Totally forgot about it, right? And then I was watching the Justin Sandercore one because I was like, how do I do blues arpeggios again? And then they both popped up and I was like, aha. Now Justin plays a little bit more happy and sophisticated sounding, which is amazing. Killer player, great dude, amazing. Check out his stuff, really great at this fusion of blues and jazz. Corey, on the other hand, is a little bit more on the tough side, but can play tons of styles too. Country, rock, blues, swing, all that kind of stuff. So his approach is a little bit more like mine, where it's a little bit more aggressive sounding, but he still floats in that major, Field of Flowers world really well too. So thank you so much for checking out the video. Remember to subscribe. Click the bell if you're new to be notified when the new videos comes out, and give it a thumbs up and a like and all that other stuff, and share it far and wide. Check brettpapa.com if you want to support the cause. There's over 700 videos there in the membership to help you become better quickly, easily, and just give you confidence, right? That's what it's all about. So check that out. That funds the whole operation. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the continued support. We'll catch you next time.